We were looking for some good IGL that fits our team, but we actually couldn't find. There are some positions that I didn't play in FPX and I need to work on. I need to watch demos about the positions and I need to learn about them more. It takes so much time to prac every map, and then when you get into the tournament, like you don't have any map, you're confident that.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to another interview. Today, I'm going to be joined by Maden of ENCE. Really appreciate you coming on. As I've said, we were chatting a fair bit, trying to get it sorted, and pick the perfect day. You've had a bit of an off day, so thank you very much for coming on, mate.
No worries. It's a pleasure being here.
Yeah, appreciate it. So I wanted to start. We'll talk about kind of current events and the way that things are going, but I wanted to start a little bit with maybe just picking your brains about sort of the end of FPX and how that went. Right, obviously you guys tried sort of running through in-game leaders, maybe having a few issues getting that sorted, and then eventually the team folds and whatnot. Did you feel like that was a little bit inevitable? Did it come early for you? Were you hoping for some more time with that lineup and whatnot? I guess just a general run through of how you felt towards the end of that lineup and that organization.
Well, at the end of the FPX, we kind of didn't expect we're gonna be benched, removed from more kind of that fast. Well, obviously, our main goal was to qualify for major, which we didn't do. So basically, I think it was just for them the main part. We got benched kinda, but the main plan was to stick with the core of three of us. It was me, Farlig, and Stiko, and to find two more players. We had the talks with FPX, and that was the main plan. But at the end, they just came and they said you're all benched. So that's how it ended. But it was a rough period. We couldn't find an IGL that was that we can play with kinda. After benching Crystal, which was a long time ago, we were looking for some good IGL that fits our team, but we actually couldn't find. I think the perfect fit for us was Chris J, but he just couldn't fix the issues with the contract and everything with FPX, so it just kind of all went bad. So we had to pick Emmy. He was a free agent, which obviously he's a really good player, but we just didn't qualify for major, so that's the main part. Kind of FPX wanted to bench us.
Yeah, it is a little bit of a shame, I think, with something like that. You maybe would have just liked a bit more time or a bit of a shift around, but they clearly weren't all that happy. And
Yeah.
I don't know. There's the whole Valorant situation as well. I don't quite know what's going on with Riot maybe not wanting teams to have like multiple orgs and things like that. But I guess I was just sort of looking for a bit of a brief summary, because now moving into ENCE, right, which a team before you joined, which was already kind of on the up, looking relatively good and, making strides each and every tournament that they kind of qualified for or got into. How do you feel that, things are different there, right? Because there's a lot of theories around you being a bit more vocal within the team, having a bit more to say, taking a few more resources maybe than you were in FPX, that kind of thing. How has the shift, come in here with this squad?
Well, definitely the main part that is better than in FPX, as a team, is we are less frustrated. People are playing. If you lose a round, which happens if people make mistakes, people are not getting as tilted or frustrated like in our past lineup was. So I think that's the main part. This team is really good, right? And yeah, it's really nice playing with these guys. They're all pretty good individually, so I'm really happy to be in the team right now.
Mm. And how do you feel sort of IGL situation? Obviously, Snappi is getting an awful lot of praise for kind of the mid rounding being a pretty good LAN IGL. Therefore, right? Is he using you a bit more than maybe previous IGLs and things like that were?
Well, I think he's really good IGL, and also his mid-round ideas are really good. But also, all the players are giving an ideas mid-rounds what to do. We are trying to help him as much, which makes the IGL really good. If all the players are kind of involved into calling mid-round, but also I'm really vocal mid-round a lot. I'm trying to help, trying to call and give some good ideas. So I think it's a perfect fit, kinda.
And you guys are giving an awful lot of credit to Saw as well. That's something that has come up on the broadcast a fair bit, especially at the recent Pro League run. Talk me through some of the things that he does for the team.
He's really smart within CS. He knows how to play the CS, and he knows what to do in the current meta. He knows how team plays, and he does really good anti-strat with our analyst, Trohu. They're doing really good anti-strat on all the teams. And also, whenever he does the like a tactical timeout, he always gives really good ideas, which helps us win the crucial rounds, like when we need to reset an opponent or something. He's not the type of coach who will like cheer you up so much and everything, but he's really smart in CS, so I think he's helping us a lot.
And is that something that is I guess much more prominent than previous teams? The fact that like ENCE, I think, have set themselves up very well. Obviously the Finnish organization and team a few years ago, but it seems like the support staff and the management behind it know a little more than some of your sort of previous teams on how to build a team respectably and kind of healthy from the ground up. Is that along the right lines, would you say?
Yeah, I think so. I think that's like that. Like both coach and analysts are doing the insane job, but also all the management within the ENCE, like our manager and like the owners of ENCE, they are doing incredible job. Whatever we ask from them, they instantly give us. Like they're supporting us so much, and I think it's pretty good from them. They're doing a really good job.
Mm. Yeah, I think for sure, right? You can see that looking in just the way that obviously the Finnish team sort of broke down and since going more international and slowly building that and picking some really good pieces. And I think that people were very happy when Hades was picked up. People were very happy when yourself got picked up. The sort of potential there that we've not quite seen the best out of these players kind of thing. Talking on that point, right? Obviously, you guys playing in Group B, you go 4-1, pretty solid performance across the board. And even bringing Furia kind of close, right? So I guess the first question on that, ultimately, how are you feeling as a player? Because it definitely, a lot of the focus for ENCE was kind of on yourself, right? You had a really good performance, and there were some kind of question marks coming into it. There's the potential here. Can he pull it out on an early event like this with so many different teams and big teams? How are you feeling, and maybe what was some of your preparation going into this?
Yeah, I mean, I have kind of worse stats, which I don't care about here right now than in FPX, because kind of in FPX we had like 4 of our players were mega defensive. No one was doing any kind of plays, and then I had all the freedom in FPX. Whatever I feel like doing mid round, at the beginning of the round, I will always do the play, and which obviously you give player more space, he will have better stats. But kinda in ENCE, like I'm like everyone is kind of aggressive, right? So I don't have as much space as I had in FPX, like it just makes my stats worse. But yeah, like that's kind of the situation right now. And I forgot the question now when I started talking. Like
No, you're all good.
the question again.
Yeah, just sort of on like what your prep was coming into this.
Yeah, it was default like always. I watched a lot of demos kinda. I also watched before I joined ENCE. I watched few of their demos just to see how their playstyle is, like, and how could I fit into this. But basically, what I'm doing right now, I'm just trying to make my players comfortable in the team. I'm trying to take as much space in the game for them, trying to do this like cheat plays in default, do like a lot of aggro plays kinda. So like the players like Spinks and Diha, which are incredibly good in clutches, they can shine there and do their job. So that's kind of my prep.
And what about the team? That was sort of my next area as well. Like, is there a lot of anti-stratting going on? Is that a main focus? Are you just trying to build up your own game right now and be confident in that? How does it look from a team practice perspective?
From teams, like we do anti-strats on every single team. So both coach and our analyst, who as I already mentioned, they're like making the videos like of every opponent we play against. and then we all as a team are watching those videos and kinda having the image or the page how they play, kinda, so everyone has the like view of their playstyle and everything, which helps us a lot to know which rounds we're gonna do against them, which strats can potentially work against them, and I think that's really good what we do. I didn't have that in FPX where like the analyst will make videos and everything of opponent.
Yeah, no, it's really solid. Again, as we kind of mentioned, right? It seems ENCE sort of on the money in that sense. So looking a little bit into the future then, playoffs obviously on the horizon. We've got one more group to go. And, you know, as of time of recording and therefore playoffs will be pretty soon, right? So I guess, you know, you guys narrowly miss out on that quarterfinal spot, which is a little bit of a shame. How are you feeling going into it? You know, are you confident? Are you sort of trying to be a realist about it, not get too overconfident? You know, what are you guys thinking moving into playoffs?
Actually, we are not like mega confident. We are just playing match by match, kinda. It was the same in the group stage. We actually didn't expect we're gonna finish like. I mean, obviously we wanted to qualify for playoff. It was our main goal, but we didn't expect we're just gonna be 4-1, potentially 5-0. Like the match against Furia was like pretty close. We had 12-5 lead in the third map. We thought we're gonna go 5-0, but it just unfortunately what happened. So but we are just gonna play match by match. We are not overconfident after those wins. We know our true potential, that we can play much better than we already played. We're just gonna play match by match and see what's gonna happen, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, that's fair, right? That's kind of the safer mindset, it seems, for a lot of teams to sort of go in with, so that you're not shooting yourself in the foot kind of thing. Talk me through a matchup like that, though, when you're playing Furia. You know, you sort of have the potential. You're already secure, but you obviously want to win that game, try and secure the quarterfinal spot, skip a game or whatever. And it does go relatively close. You know, how do you, as a pro player, maybe talk some of us sort of laymen who've not been in a situation like that before, how do you stay present in the game? You know, how do you keep your mind straight, as it were, and not getting frustrated or whatever at the situations, especially maybe indeed when they can mount a mini comeback? Talk me through some of that.
Yeah, it was really hard game against them, which it's always against them really hard. They play a really unpredictable CS. Like every single round, you need to think what they're gonna do next. What are they doing? Like it's so weird, their playstyle. The first map we beat Nuke, like it was like 16-10 for us or something. We were pretty confident. We thought we might win it 2-0. I actually can't remember what was the second map in the best of 3, but yeah, it was like also pretty close. And we went into the third map, which we had like 12-5 lead. We were CT side. We had 10 rounds on CT side, and we had like 2 or 3 clutches with which we threw, but it was still fine. It was 12-5, and after it, basically they were just aggroing everywhere. They were like on their CT side on Mirage. They were just pushing underground, pushing AEPs, pushing BEPs, and doing all this kind of stuff, which we just didn't have an answer to it, kinda. And then if you lose 3 or 4 rounds, you're questioning what you're doing bad, what you should do next, and then it just scrambled down everything. Like you just don't know what to do after, kinda, and it was a bit hard to know what they do next.
And is the game in general just like, you know, a lot more difficult than when you first started playing? I think meta-wise, obviously, when you first started playing, the caliber of teams is going to be different, but it seems like there's a lot more potential for, you know, many different teams to win a tournament at the moment. There's not necessarily a solid era in the way that, you know, Astralis, SK, Fnatic all sort of had theirs, where they were pretty dominant. They'd maybe drop a series or they'd maybe drop a final, you know. But now it does seem like there's so many different teams with the potential to win a tournament, and also so many different styles, right? We talk about Furia, which is one far extreme, but there is also maybe a team like FaZe, obviously winning Katowice. The approach that they have there is fairly loose and fairly, you know, mid-round based, maybe not quite as aggressive, but again, hard to read. So, you know, is a challenge at the moment? You know, what are some of the maybe key traits you feel like a pro player needs at the minute, like adaptability or just a good work ethic, you know, basic stuff? Like where do you sit on that kind of thing?
I think all these things combined like will help you just be a better team kinda, but mostly in this current meta is just these mid-round decisions, quick mid-round decisions, and obviously being more unpredictable kinda in mid rounds and during the round, just doing this little gimmick plays where you cheat in a default, do some weird thing that players won't expect, because in this level everyone knows how to aim, everyone knows how to shoot. It's just being less like predictable kinda in a way for me is right now, because like it's so random now, like everyone can beat everyone, even top 50 team can beat like top 3 team kinda in a way, because like all of this like lineup changes and everything into this season, so it will take some time since one team will be more constant. And obviously this really bad thing that happens with Russia and Ukraine, like players are not like really, they're not into playing CS right now, right? With all these things happening, so all these CIS teams are also kind of not in, they're not playing the same way as they used to, so yeah, it's really random right now, the CS kind of.
Yeah, yeah, it definitely results in it being more exciting and a little more interesting to
Definitely
watch.
true.
But yeah, there is maybe something to be said about stability. And of course, you know, we're not fully out of COVID just yet. It seems like we are definitely out the other side of it, but that's certainly a factor.
Yeah,
You know, so I think it's definitely a difficult time to play the game, but it does, like I say, result in some more intriguing games, to say the least. But yeah, I wanted to ask, sort of following on from that as well, maybe where some of your philosophies sit as a player. You know, like what are some of the things within the game, within the server, that you find more important? You know, are you a little more structurally based? Do you want to be more aggressive? You know, like you've said, everyone on ENCE is quite aggressive. Are you happy just sort of filling in the roles, or do you have a desire to maybe shift things around a little bit?
definitely at some maps I don't feel confident in some position that I'm holding, kinda on vertigo. I'm holding this gap on A side, right? I actually don't feel confident in playing this position, which we already talked about. We might change some things up. Like there are some positions that I didn't play in FPX and I need to work on. I need to watch demos about the positions and I need to learn about them more, which obviously takes time, and they are all pretty good at that. They are not pressuring me or anything. They are giving me the time to improve on those positions. But yeah, mostly I on T side I play the positions I did in FPX. It's just map control, helping Marco out, Snappi, and just communicating with him as much as possible. So we do some good mid round things.
Yeah, fair. Yeah, fair. So where are you kind of hoping to take things with ENCE at the moment, right? You've obviously just touched on a little bit of like changing and whatnot, but you know, RMR spot, obviously the Pro League playoffs that we just talked about. You've also, worth noting for people, qualified for the Blast Spring Showdown just yesterday, I think, or maybe the day before. But yeah, so I feel like there's a lot on the horizon for ENCE at the moment, and as you've just noted, the top end of the game is a little topsy turvy, right? Where the top three, the top five seems to be shifting around a lot. So you've got a lot of big Counter-Strike coming up, I suppose, to prove yourselves as a team. Where do you see it going?
Well, I see definitely this year we can make it into top 5 team. I like it will just take some time, kinda. We are still like with me a new lineup, so we are still trying to build a bit of structure and to build a map pool, kinda. We still have few maps that we need to work on, and there is some maps like Nuke and Ancient and obviously Overpass we are confident at, but there is some other maps that we need to work on. And I think our main goals right now is to qualify for major and also to do as good as we can in the CPL. And for the rest, we're just gonna see, like if we do good in EPL, we might even get the invite for I Am Dallas. So like just trying to do as good as we can right now. Kind of, we already achieved the goal for qualifying for playoffs, so this is just a bonus. So we're just gonna play game by game and like see what happens.
Yeah, it sounds kind of dangerous, you know, that sort of not necessarily nothing to lose mindset, but a few steps down from it. You know what I mean? That you guys are taking it game by game. just having a bit of fun with it, maybe, you know. So we'll see.
I don't like being overconfident. I don't like saying
That's
these
fair,
things,
man.
and then after, if I lose the game, I will be tilted because I was so confident before game. I lose the game, then like I expect much from me before the game. So after the game, if you lose it, you're just gonna feel bad. So just focusing on the game, and that's it.
Yeah, no, I mean that's fair. I think, like I say, it's a good mindset to take, because otherwise you do end up with sort of the high highs. If you're super confident going into it and you do win, it's like a great feeling, but it can swing the other way, and let you down a little bit. So I think that's totally fair. And obviously there's a lot of different, ideas on where you should have your mindset going into a game. Of course, I think there's some players who in the past have been a little overconfident, but it makes them play better, maybe, So I definitely think it's an interesting one.
It's player from player, depends like how you are as a person, kinda.
For sure. So you touched on the map pool a little bit. I think it'd be good to get some of your thoughts. Obviously, having played sort of both levels of the game, where actually we're starting to see, like in that tier 2 space, a lot more teams definitely on 6, and also try and move maybe to all 7, actually. Teams like Entropic and Ecstatic are pretty happy to do that when they're playing sort of the tier 2 level. What are you thinking about the map pool in general, right? Because there's like your Mirage in there, which on a sort of global scale, all levels of the game, people say is stale. Then there's Inferno, where people say at the pro level that's kind of stale because, it's maybe being figured out. Then there's maps like Ancient, which, people are still not quite happy with how they're structured and things like that. So what are your general thoughts on like where the map pool is at? Is there anything you change? You want Cash or Train Back or maybe Cobble? What are you thinking?
I would actually like to maybe get Kerk back. I think that map was pretty funny. I think we should get it back. I don't like Vertigo. I would get it removed instantly if they ask me, because I hate it. But yeah, like first when I joined ENCE, our like coach and both Snappi wanted to have us 7 kind of maps that we play, which was really hard. And then after it was I am Katowice, we said like this is really hard. We can't do this. Like it takes so much time to prac every map, and then when you get into the tournament, like you don't have any map. You're confident that it just takes so much time. So we decided after I am Katowice, we're just gonna stick to 6 map pool, and mostly Inferno is gonna be our ban. But we also first like 20 days we practice it. We know what to do on the map. Obviously, we're not gonna ban it against a team that also bans it. We can play it, but we're gonna stick to kind of 6 map in the pool for us right now, because it was really hard and like just took so much time, kind of.
Yeah, it's definitely an interesting one, because I think once you start to get into the tier 1 of events where there's definitely a fair amount of them, and EPL as a whole event runs on for a while, right? But as an individual team, you may be not getting as many reps on maps, right? Because there's a lot of like, teams like Ecstatic and Entropic, as I mentioned. I think Entropic is starting to break in. They just need a few more, qualifiers or whatever. Maybe Skade is another one that comes to mind. Copenhagen Flames, these teams in the sort of tier 2 that are playing so many tournaments. You can kind of get your practice in on the maps by playing officials, against a team that you're expected to win, and you may be quite heavily outmatch. You have your confident map, you have a decent decider, and then you can maybe let them move towards a map that you don't usually play. So it's a fair point, actually, that it's quite difficult for the top end to get the official experience on like every single map. So yeah.
That's for sure.
Yeah. All right, cool. I think that's gonna do us, mate. To be honest, I'm pretty happy with that. Again, really appreciate you coming on, picking your brains, getting a bit of a setup going into playoffs and whatnot. And of course, wish you all the luck with it. So thanks for coming on.
Wish you all the best. Thanks for inviting me to the interview. Goodbye.